sons.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
What?
It's August 20th, 1989, and in the quiet luxury of Beverly Hills, the scene is gruesome. Lyle and Erik Menendez, two sons of immense privilege, have just dialed 911, their voices shaking and breathless as they report the murder of their parents. "Someone killed my parents," Lyle sobs into the phone. But what police don't realize as they rush to 722 North Elm Drive is that the horror they'll uncover isn't as simple as it appears. When the police arrive, they find 45-year-old Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty brutally murdered, shot execution style in their family room. There are empty shotgun shells scattered around, blood pooling on the cream-colored carpet. Beverly Hills, a neighborhood famous for its movie stars and millionaires, has never seen a crime scene quite like this. And in the midst of this gruesome scene stand the grieving sons, Lyle and Erik, ages 21 and 18. They're distraught, inconsolable, and they're the only witnesses. But let's rewind for a moment, because this story goes way deeper than a simple murder. Jose Menendez wasn't just any father. He was a powerhouse, a self-made Cuban immigrant who rose from poverty to become a wealthy Hollywood executive. Jose was known as a tough, controlling figure, a man with high expectations who ran his household with a strict hand. Kitty, meanwhile, had struggled with depression and alcoholism, often feeling caught in her husband's relentless ambition. But on the outside, the Menendez family appeared perfect, the epitome of American success. So how did it all go so wrong? In the days after the murders, police start their investigation without many leads. They initially think it could be a mob hit, a business rivalry gone wrong, or maybe even a robbery. But oddly, they can't find any evidence of forced entry, and none of Jose's valuable possessions are missing. The case begins to stall. Then a curious thing happens. The brothers, who initially seem devastated, begin behaving in unexpected ways. Within weeks of their parents' deaths, Lyle and Erik embark on a spending spree of epic proportions. They buy designer clothes, luxury cars, Rolex watches, and even throw lavish parties at the family mansion. They blow through an estimated $700,000 of their parents' fortune in just a few months. Police and friends start noticing the brothers' spending habits, raising suspicions. But there's no solid proof linking them to the crime, and the case goes cold for almost a year. Then comes a shocking breakthrough. Erik, the younger brother, has been struggling with guilt. He confesses to his therapist, Dr. Jerome Oziel, detailing the murder with chilling accuracy. Dr. Oziel, bound by doctor-patient confidentiality, is torn but ultimately records their sessions in secret, fearing for his own safety. During these recordings, the brothers discuss the night of the murders and their motive. The tapes, known as the Oziel tapes, reveal that Lyle and Erik committed the murders because they claimed their father was abusive and that their mother did nothing to stop it. The tapes blow the case wide open, and on March 8, 1990, Lyle and Erik Menendez are arrested. During their trial, which becomes one of the most sensational in American history, the brothers' defense attorney, Leslie Abramson, delivers a strategy that no one saw coming. Rather than deny the murders, she argues that the brothers were driven to kill out of years of horrific abuse. According to Erik and Lyle, their father, Jose, had subjected them to severe emotional and physical abuse, including alleged sexual assault. Abramson paints a picture of two young men trapped in a nightmare, desperate and fearful for their lives. The public is divided. Some are horrified, refusing to believe such accusations against a man who was widely respected in the business world.
It's very easy to go to a crime scene of a homicide and to take all the gruesome pictures in the world and parade them later in front of a jury and get those people upset. But where is the picture of Jose Menendez bending Erik over the footboard of his bed when he's 12 years old so that his father can now go all the way in spite of the child's screams? Well, there is such a picture. But unfortunately, it only lives in Erik's mind now.
Others are sympathetic, convinced that these privileged young men were broken by a lifetime of unimaginable abuse. The media frenzy is relentless. with every detail of the brothers' high society lifestyle, mental state, and family dynamics splashed across the front pages. But the case takes a twist even Hollywood couldn't script. Despite months of testimony, the jury is deadlocked. The first trial ends in a hung jury. So in 1995, the brothers are retried, but this time the judge restricts much of the abuse testimony. Without the dramatic backstory, the prosecution successfully portrays Lyle and Erik as greedy, spoiled sons who murdered their parents for inheritance. This time, both brothers are found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Today, the Menendez brothers sit in separate California prisons. Their case remains a chilling reminder of how family secrets, buried under layers of privilege and wealth, can spiral into tragedy. The question of whether they were driven by fear or greed remains, sparking debates on the boundaries between trauma and accountability.